Devils make multiple moves. Changes are coming. Yeah, you didn't have to just take Tom Fitzgerald's word for it. He put it into action. Early action. Implications on this. Let's talk about it. Welcome in to Devils Digest. We're so happy you guys are deciding to join us here for the summer. 53% of you, we'll round up, 54% of you are subscribed to the channel. 46 aren't. Let's go have a fun summer and get that number to 100 or as close to 100 as we can. Look, the players, Tom Fitzgerald, Sheldon Keefe, recently talked about, how the season went and, expectations going into next year and just kind of gave the room a little bit of what we were kind of feeling. Didn't really, achieve what we wanted. Maybe didn't go far enough. Kind of around that, the January mark, the team didn't play the same way that they were playing. Expectations looked really high in December, really high before the year started, and it kind of kept dipping, and you never really felt like you were getting back. You were kind of happy with, a 3-game win streak, and that wasn't really something you maybe in December where it'd get ecstatic. No, that was getting you ecstatic February, March, even part of April. Kind of had that feeling, and that's how it felt at these press conferences. Now, Tom Fitzgerald put some stuff in action. Assistant coaches Ryan McGill and Chris Taylor, among others in the organization, will not have their contracts renewed. Yeah, Tom Fitzgerald's angry. Look, just some advice for you guys out there, just regular, life advice. Don't make decisions when you're unhappy. Do something that's going to make you feel a little bit better. Listen to some music. Go to the gym. Don't make a decision based off of emotion. And when you look at this, there might have been a little bit of emotion involved. I mean, you can't go ahead and send out a whole entire team. I mean, you go ahead and look how they performed in Ryan McGill and Chris Taylor since coming over here. McGill over here since 2022, 2023. Taylor, 2 years prior. The team overall in that time frame did get better. We saw Jack Hughes take another step. Nico Hischier, he looks really good. Jesper Bratt, he's butted into a superstar. There are players on this team who have gotten better since these coaches have been there. And you look at what's happened outside of that. Devils have had 3 head coaches in that time period. They've been able to move off head coaches, and these guys have still found a way to get the team to produce. I mean, the Devils this year finished top 3 in both power play and penalty kill. No other team did that. So when you look at that from that standpoint, they were able to produce. Now, it wasn't, all beautiful. I'm not trying to say that, they did, a great job. But both of them getting fired at the same time with how the team has developed, it is a little interesting. But there are things to kind of say why this could have happened. I mean, you go ahead and you look, Devils finished 20th in scoring. Probably weren't expecting that. And who especially was not expecting that was Tom Fitzgerald. I mean, you look back to the offseason. Fitzgerald made a ton of changes. He went out, he got a little bit tougher. He got a little bit more defense. We're going to have the same injury problems. I've already said it before, he'll never not have a number 1 goaltender. Those type of things you kind of remember. They hold a little bit closer to home when things go really, really bad. And they're kind of, the outlier. I always say, don't believe in the outlier. But when something like that happens, you got to find a way to fix it. And Devils found a way to fix it. Jacob Markstrom was awesome. Jake Allen, very good backup. Devils found a way to fix that. But when you look at what Tom Fitzgerald has done, because there is situational purpose here. You go out, you have a big offseason. You've drafted high, pretty high before. You have players on, pretty good contracts. Jack Hughes, Nico Hischier, Jesper Bratt. When you look at those things, and a team comes out, because Tom Fitzgerald's been here since 2020, 2025, and you're looking at 42 wins, 91 points, 5 games in the playoffs. And for the most part, that series, it felt like Carolina's way for a lot of it. Go for the rest. The other 4 years. 1 playoff appearance. 1 round, not much more. And you didn't build enough off of that in terms of team success. Now, when you look at that, and then you pair it off with Tom Fitzgerald has had 3 head coaches, if you count Green. I mean, cannot. He wasn't going to go ahead and fire Sheldon Keefe. Because when you're a general manager and your team for the 2nd straight year didn't meet expectations, you spent money in free agency, you have a team that should have taken the next step, going to ownership and saying, hey, I made the wrong choice at head coach, I need to go get somebody else, not going to go over very well. Your option was, the only real other option was, outside of that, was going and firing your 2 assistant head coaches. And that's what he did. He went and he said, you know what? We didn't perform. We weren't good enough this year. We need to make a change. Well, I can't be completely wrong, but I also need to find a way to be somewhat of right. Somewhat of give a little bit more of a direction. And giving a direction was not going ahead and firing Sheldon Keefe. Now, I'm not saying he should have went out and fired Sheldon Keefe. Is he happy with, the type of game the Devils play this year? No, that's clear. But I'm not saying go ahead and fire Sheldon Keefe. Now, when you look at where the Devils are and what they need to do to get better and how Tom Fitzgerald is trying to build this team, it's clear. He let the goaltending, that scarred him. He needs to get that better. He got that, fixed it, all good. Defensively, he's signing defensemen, multitude of them, and he's giving them contracts. Look back at Johnathan Kovacevic, wasn't really a full-time NHLer, 4-year deal right off the bat. Brett Pesce, 6-year deal. Dougie Hamilton, one of the biggest signings in Devils free agency history. Tom Fitzgerald signed that. So, you look at what he's building. He's getting defense. He's going to have a ton of options there. He's going to have a good goaltending tandem. Now, offensively, that's where it gets a little tricky. That's where I can't completely figure out what Tom Fitzgerald is doing. Because you go back to 2023 when they made the playoffs, 2022, 2023. They were one of the quickest teams in the NHL, one of the best teams in transition. You go back to this previous offseason, it was all about getting tougher. Now, I know Florida looks pretty good in the playoffs right now. They just won a Stanley Cup. There's a difference between being tough and being Matthew Tkachuk, Sam Bennett. There's a little bit of a difference. Those guys have multiple of things. Now, they're just, not lucky players, but you're lucky to get both. They're not really out there that much. Now, he did go out and get Timo Meier, a little bit more of one of those type of players, power forward, but still trying to figure out the offense, the identity of this offense. Because right now, it seems like he went, in the beginning, it was full speed, skill, we're going to be good in the transitional game, and now it's like completely opposite. Trying to, get a little bit tougher. Didn't really work out this year. They didn't get near enough depth scoring. They definitely didn't get enough scoring up front. So when you look at that, you kind of question, it's like, okay, well, you're going over to ownership. You've had a few off seasons. You went one way with offense, then a different way. You fixed the goaltending. That's fine. Defensively, you're not going to have a problem if they get injured. But with the offense, what's going on there? You have guys like Jack Hughes, Nico, Hischier, Jesper, Bratt on these great contracts. Maybe you think he'd be able to figure out the offense a little bit better. Seems a little bit easier to get depth scoring. Because these guys, they don't need, a ton around them. They'll find scoring. But when you have good deals, they have that type of skill level. And you can't put, players around them to go score goals, to go help out a little bit, to stay good in the transitional game, to not be 20th in the league in goal scoring? It's definitely a question that'll be answered this summer, hopefully answered this summer. But yeah, Tom Fitzgerald is angry. Both coaches, assistant coaches, gone. And I'm sure there's going to be other changes. Well, I mean, the tweet said right there, other people in the organization will not be returning. So, yeah. Okay. Go ahead, please hit the subscribe button. Leave your comments down below. Let's get some more conversation down there. Leave your thoughts below. What do you think the Devils should do this offseason? We have the draft coming up. Unfortunately, no first-round pick this year. But it was a little bit probably nicer watching a team contest for a playoff spot than, picking in the first round. Hopefully no Ranger fans are watching. Or if you guys are, go ahead, click the subscribe button. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys want to see this offseason, and I'll talk to you guys really soon. All right, take care, guys.